जय हिंद में
Yes.
जय हिंद में ब्रांड एम्बेसडर डॉक्टरेट डिग्री से सन्मानित स्नेह बाल कलाकार लावणीश्री विद्याश्री शिवाजी यांचे. I am 8 years old. I am an ambassador, social activist, international dancer, film child artist, 35 वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड होल्डर. आयोजक सर ने मुझे परफॉर्मेंस करने की संधि दी, इसलिए मैं आयोजक सर की बहुत बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ. आज मैं आपके सामने महाराष्ट्रियन फोक डांस यानी कि लावणी प्रस्तुत कर रही हूँ. आज मैं जो लावणी प्रस्तुत कर रही हूँ उसे बैठकीची लावणी कहते हैं. थैंक यू.
Wonderful. Please start.
दरबार सुना हंड्या झुंबर नवा मझधार रातिला लावा अंतर
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Videshri. And for everybody's information, I must say that Lavani is a genre of music popular in Maharashtra and one of the states of India. And Lavani is a combination of traditional song and dance, which particularly performed to the beats of dholki, a percussion instrument. Lavani is noted for its powerful rhythm and has contributed substantially to the development of Marathi folk theatre. Thank you, thank you.
This is a Baithakichi Lavani.
Okay, and what was the meaning of that song?
एज
Meaning age बड़ा है, लेकिन दिल अभी भी छोटा है.
Okay, so let me translate in English that no matter how you are aging and growing in the number of years, but your heart always remains young. Okay, thank you so much, baby. Vidyashri, thank you so much for joining us. And it was wonderful, beautiful, mesmerizing. I could not take off my eyes from you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Blessings.
Take care.
So moving on to our today's special session. Now may I invite Caroline ma'am for her welcome note, please. Yes, please. In our chief guests and speakers, I heartily welcome them and inviting our first speaker, Her Highness Princess Professor Dr. Edine Soriano Trinidad. Welcome, Doctor, and over to you, please. You need to unmute yourself, or maybe I can do it for you. Yes, please. We can hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Eden Soriano Trinidad from the Philippines. I'm representing two countries, my country, the Philippines, and the newest country, Beerland in Africa. Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council, I would like to thank the organizer, the founder, and president of this organization, and the one who invited me to be one of the chief guests, Prince Pagi D. Pali, and to our program chair, Ms. Deepa Chowdhury. Good evening, everyone, and to all my co-guest speaker tonight. I saw my kababayan, my countryman, Dr. Froilan, and another Filipino I saw. Good evening. It is indeed a very great opportunity to be with you all on this special event. We are all aware of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals mission statement, a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all people and the world by 2030. It is their blueprint for peace and prosperity for mankind and our planet for today or the now, and for a more sustainable future. Sustainable development towards a sustainable future, it says, progress is always possible. Explore insights from true change makers. We support change makers, people leading sustainable change in the world. All of us can see this in their website. Goal number 1 of UN SDG is to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Goal number 2 is to end the now. Expected this pandemic, the destroyer and taker of many lives. Truly like a thief, COVID-19 arrived and stole our peaceful day-to-day living, destroyed and took millions of lives, devastated every country's economy, halted the world, jobs, works, businesses, schools, and almost all aspects of the human race, the needs and plans before, during COVID, and the tomorrow's plans. But on the other hand, it actually produced new millionaires. For a long period of time, the churches and preachers have been preaching prosperity, So with UN SDG, but it's being hampered, especially now, this pandemic time, which we are all hoping that it won't last for a year. But we are all dismayed. It is still an ongoing problem. Can we then achieve the goal in 2030? What many private and non-governmental organizations are doing are offering and opening and promoting awareness of the UN SDG 17 goals to groups and individuals like what we are doing now. Sadly, most governments have their good plans and programs and allotted funds to combat these problems. I learned through and from my interviews and acquaintances what's really happening on the fundings, such as or regarding allotted funds for the refugees, the supposed help to support the poverty-stricken areas. Where does it go? But I will not dwell on that. I do not swallow everything that I read or fed on the news being published on Tri Media. I do my own research and interviews. Why until now the countries like Somalia, South Sudan, Myanmar, Yemen, Madagascar, and other pitiful countries, their citizens are experiencing and suffering same suffering 10 years or more years ago? But why China also suffered so much poverty that most of the children during their black years does not know the word snack time because their parents never gave them snacks. Their early people don't know candies and pastries. They were so poor. They have no food or the luxury of foods. This I personally learned from the life story of some of my Chinese friends, especially one of my chemists before, that even the roots of lotus, they ate and still do up to this time. And it's actually a big industry in China. Here in Philippines, I don't know anybody who eat lotus roots. In my area, we don't eat. I didn't know that it is edible until few years ago when one of my good friends told me, of course, a Chinese. Why those countries experiencing severe hunger, poverty, malnutrition, so heavy-handed, and it hurts to lay your eyes on the images and photos being published about them. I couldn't bear to look twice. Since I was young, I have been aware of the country like Sudan as a very, very poor country with so many children, skin and bones on the streets lying, begging for drops of water and food, drinking dirty water or even no water at all. I kept seeing foreigners feeding them with what we call in Philippines lugaw or the rice porridge. Why? Why? I kept asking myself why. It retained in my memory those images that I learned to ask whenever I encountered someone from those places or areas. I asked questions. Why so many sufferings in your countries? Why the wars? Why the poverty? I just don't watch and listen on the news. Until now, in the 21st century, it's still happening. Why? Why no changes at all? Who's maneuvering? Who's making the lives of those people a hell in their own land? Where we know in other countries, children are so happy, healthy, enjoying life so much. We know some of the answers, right? There are government who does not care of their people or their people. Only those who are rich are important. Or the militants, those who are against their government, makes it a hell for their countrymen. Of course, the fact that there are lands experiencing severe drought is also the biggest culprit. But there are hundreds of factors resulting to endless poverty and hunger, severe austerity. Why so many refugees here and there? Why the Africans braving to cross the deadly Mediterranean Sea? So many reasons. It's not only because they want to run away from their countries. There are those who joined international beauty pageants or Olympic Games and are making it a stepping stone to run away from their country. Even they win or lose, they will not go back to their country. They will hide and live as refugees. So, what are the other truths behind the wars or poverty? Drought, which they blame why they run away, why they are hungry. I found out some facts through my friends who are diplomats and those who are having day-to-day encounter with these groups of people. Their countrymen fooled them, lured them to go to Europe, that Europe is the greener pasture, the land of milk and honey. So come, cross the Mediterranean Sea, even though there is that big warning you might die and get thrown. They will brave the ocean. You know why? Because some countrymen of them abused them, took money from them, and engaged them. That once you're in Europe, you will have a new life, a new beginning, even. And if ever they reach Europe, the expectations, the dreams, the promises never present. Once they arrive after the deadly journey or voyage in the deadly sea, they will live on the streets. They will become beggars in a foreign country, die of hunger and cold, and become recipient of old or used clothing and blankets from those humanitarian groups and individuals. Of course, there are those who give new things. So, what in my opinion and understanding is best to do to help UN SDG to attain their goals? No poverty, no to hunger. My thoughts are, let's know the truth in every situation. Does the help in terms of finances really reaches the people intended for those helps? Or some are using this entire bad situations to gain for their own interests, to gain power, to be more richer, to expose and abuse more despicable human beings from the day they were conceived, as if they were already doomed. Where are the millions of dollars really going? Others are just exploiting the situations to pocket the funds they raised. Why people are running away? Because of poverty and hunger. Of course, because whatever they do, they can't find food in a dry land where only famine is present. As we speak today, there are so much hunger also in Syria and Lebanon that the women are selling their bodies for US dollars. This is the latest personal information. And in Madagascar, many of the other suffering countries. What are we doing as humanitarian leaders and as a humanitarian organization? Most keep on saying we are humanitarians, we are for humanity, and receive hundreds of certificates. Did we ever even donate $1? Probably, I believe so. But mostly don't even want to share a penny. What really have we done to help solve the problem of poverty and hunger? Of course, we cannot change the whole situation, but we can for some. So what is for me a long-term solution to stop or lessen poverty and hunger? I will no longer suggest for the government, because government knows what to do, but most of them, they're not doing it, or they fail to administer what's supposed to be done. For individuals or groups and organizations, choose your desert, meaning which country or area you want to help and support to alleviate poverty and hunger. 2, don't leave until you solve growth. Famine, starvation is present. We must make good condition for people to work, to create atmosphere for them to work and be able to eat. Third, establish the people. Nothing will happen if we just want to talk and no action. Just meet like today on Zoom meetings. And fourth, the most important for me, let us empower the young minds, the youth, male and female. Sure, government can help, but the youth have to learn to depend on themselves. We need to educate the young minds, change their mindset to train and teach, guide them thoroughly on how to make changes in their areas. You know the saying, a hungry man is an angry man, which being bring criminalities. Because of idleness, their mind playing bad, even evil ideas. And also one main factor is laziness. Too lazy to help themselves, and yet they have given birth to many mouths to feed. If they are busy working and finding ways to improve their situations, they will not be busy producing children that only inherited the very poor conditions of their parents. We should teach them to create salvation for themselves, enable to create work, how to grow food on the lifeless lands, to have a purpose. If it's farming, be a farmer. If it's fishing, be a fisherman. But how? If we look particularly in Madagascar now, the longest drought they have ever experienced, this kind of situation, without the whole world coming together to help them, they will not survive this generation. No to poverty? How? When even all the cactus and locusts in their desert land are no longer enough to feed them all, and no oasis, no reservoir within a distance. Actually, there are many ways to help them. Water, they can have clean water, safe drinking water, using the water gen technology. But who will provide those to them? The technology where it gathers the air in that small machine and process it there and produce potable drinking water. Cannot grow plants and veggies because of drought. Why the countries like Israel and China again able to grow millions of trees and a booming agriculture in their deserts? I know how they do, but there's no time to tell all. Just one simple truth. Their government and their people work hand in hand with conviction, with strong goals in their hearts and minds to alleviate poverty and to uproot their people in the doom, seemed no more way out situation, and to not experience hunger and crying stomachs. Sure, it did not come easy, but they did and came out victoriously. Look at their agricultural land, vegetation, forest, and supplies. It's all because of their technologies and the conviction. Again, for me, it's empowering the young minds for them to learn and work hard to be able to stand on their feet, learn to help themselves. They may fail 100 times, but we know failure leads to success. I'm so thankful and grateful for inviting me to speak and share my thoughts. I prefer to say things that are practical, attainable, and proven workable. Before I close, let me share that I am part of establishing a new country in the African continent called Beerland of Beertawil. As the Prime Minister of Beerland, it is my desert. We are establishing a new country, not creating another poor and problematic country, but a new country in the right essence, where poverty will not be an issue or hunger for the stateless people who will be the citizen of Beerland. A new country which we will turn into a purely humanitarian country. It is practically a desert land with only very few stateless inhabitants. No water system or electricity, no structures, nothing in there. Beerland is my chosen desert to turn into a Dubai of Africa. At the end, my friends, at the end of this 5-day Zoom meeting, what are the expected solutions you have in mind and wanted to achieve as United International Royal Council? To all the organizer of this festival and to my co-guest speakers, I'm glad to be with you here. I believe that we will all come up with some great proposal and solutions to help the UN SDG achieve its goals. Let's listen to other guests. Thank you so much, and God empower and bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Her Excellency. Thank you so much. Each word of your came out of the bottom of your heart, and congratulations for the noble work that you are doing for no poverty, no hunger. And what you said was empowering young minds is very important because that lays the foundation for this to go ahead. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you so much.
May I now invite Caroline ma'am for her welcome note, please. She was not there initially, but I can see her now.
Yeah.
Welcome, Caroline ma'am. Over to you, please.
Good evening, one and all. Excellency, I'm very happy to and delighted to hear your speech, ma'am. It's really great. Of course, I'm sorry. I apologize. I joined late because of my college work. Thank you very much, ma'am. You have joined us and given us excellent information about the SDG and its development and application, implementation. Thank you very much, Excellency. Already we know that we are in a grand ceremony. That means it is Sustainable Development Goals Festival. That is the title we have given. Then the question may arise that when we are suffering with poverty, gender inequality, and many more deprivations we noticed, and how we are celebrating. But yeah, as festival only to bring certain kind of awareness when we look at ahead and solving each and every problem, and it will definitely, the earth, the globe will be in a grandeur, and we can celebrate in a very grandeur. That is the main concept. So we know that Sustainable Development Goals, it is established by United Nations in the year 2015 to address every problem of the globe. And not only the problem has to be solved not by United Nations countries, 198 countries join the hand, but even developing and developed countries join their hands for the welfare of the society, especially. Here, they want to establish these sustainable development goals and bring awareness in the minds of every citizen of every nation that they have to look at the problems and try their best level to solve at their level. And if every individual have the awareness about the problems facing by the human beings every day, we know pretty well, girl, child, woman, men, transgenders, everywhere we find they face the problem. So we have number of problems which has to be addressed and it has to be solved. This United Nations almost 15 years growth they are expecting, and they want to achieve it by 2000. That has to be solved. But we know pretty well this COVID, coronavirus, this has brought recession in every country. Almost even developed countries also we find the recession. Almost they are in the recession period. So it has made us, as we are marching ahead, finding out the problem of solving the problem of the global problems which are faced by every nation and every individual. But this coronavirus made us to move not ahead, but we are in decline state almost 10 years, we are back in our growth. Now we have to concentrate much, and every individual have to work hard for the fulfillment of the UN which has dreamt, and they want to make it in the form of an action plan for the development of every nation. If every nation is in a growing state, definitely every individual of the nation will be in a prosperity. They want the peace and prosperity in the lives of the people. So if there is a peace, then definitely there will be happiness and joy in the minds. When they are with great happiness, flourishment, growth will be more. So that is the main concept. So every area, right from food to here, that is our roof where we reside, that every area we find the problem. The day the poor people, when they get up, they have to search for the grains. So there is a lot of problem everywhere. So that has to be addressed. So every individual, when they think it is not the responsibility of me, it is not my duty, I don't want, some other nation will take care, some other prime minister will take care, president will take care. So we try our best level to keep the responsibility on the heads of the higher authorities or the rulers. But it is the responsibility of every individual that we are bestowed with natural resources blessed by God. So we have to take care of the nature. And because of our activities, we are declining the growth, and we notice a tremendous change in the climate. So because of the climate change, we are suffering a lot with global warming and many more problems. And we know many diseases we are facing, and we know pretty well the COVID, even the COVID-19, we say that it is created in the lab. Once also I said, maybe it is created or not created. We do not have any kind of what we say proofs. But I can say, as we have gone for the deforestation, the virulent strains, it is attacking us. So that is a good example where we are observing now that we moved into their habitat, they are affecting us only because of the deforestation. So we are destroying the nature, and because of the destroying of the nature, we are seeing the problem, that is the rainfall. There is no proper rainfall, the high temperature. So definitely, if there is no rain, there will be a lot of drought. If it is drought, there is no food production. So if there is no proper food production, people will deprived with food and they die. So we see many death cases. We notice every day, even in India, especially agriculture is the backbone of our country. And we find that many of the farmers commit suicide because of their loss, and they cannot feed their children, their family. So in this way, we find every area of right from hunger to gender inequality that has to be addressed. So it is the responsibility of every individual of the country to look at solving the problem. So even I noticed when we skipped this title, and I have faced some kind of comments that even goal 1 was not fulfilled. How it is fulfilled? Goal 1, not only goal 1, goal 1 to 17, everything. If you say that no poverty, goal 1 is no poverty, are we able to notice that there is no poverty? Still people are suffering with poverty. India, we are still in developing country. We are developing country, and we notice a lot of food scarcity in our country. So I cannot say that we have fulfilled the goal 1. So right from goal 1 to goal 17, we have to concentrate and see that it will be fulfilled. And I would like to say on this platform that it is a responsibility of every individual, of every nation, right from developing to developed country, to look at the prospects of the globe. And we want our globe to be very healthy, happy, and joy. So with great greenery and clean environment and complete good water, clean water to drink, and good food to eat, and maintain a healthy lifestyle. That is very important. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. And we have very excellent and eminent, empowered guest speakers. So thank you very much for accepting our invitation. and joining us. Thank you, every eminent guest speaker. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Caring ma'am, for that elaborate welcome note and defining the defining this noble cause and the reasons and the consequences of it probably. So, as you very rightly said, that we have eminent speakers, very powerful one. Let's hear it from them. We've already heard from Dr. Eden Soriano Trinidad. Now, may I welcome Her Highness, Dr. Sujata Singhi. I could see her some time back. She was already here. Yes, please. Dr. You need to unmute yourself, please.
Namaste and a very good evening from Mumbai, India to all the honorable guests. And I would like to thank Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council for this wonderful initiative and the beautiful talk which I have heard from the past two speakers. It's really very insightful. This is the first time I'm going to speak on this platform, and I would like to thank Dr. Palli and Deepa Chaudhary for this honor, and Carolina ma'am. Yes, truly gratitude to you as well. Coming to this noble aspects of understanding, the third goal of the UN under SDG is about wellness, health and wellness, which is one of the most important aspects of every human being. And I guess it's the human right. All of us have a right to be happy, a right to be healthy. Ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being at all ages is essential to sustainable development. And currently, the world is facing a global crisis, unlike any other, the COVID-19. And it's spreading human suffering, destabilizing the global economy, and upending the lives of billions of people across the world. India is not behind. We are all sailing in the same boat. And when we say this, before the pandemic, all the funds which were used were helping billions of people to eradicate the existing problems, the existing diseases. But unfortunately, there has been such a big killer associated disease which has come up, a virus coming up, which has got no boundaries, which did not see that it could be sustained or contained in a particular area. This brings in a lot of pressure, not just for the government, but also to the people. As rightly said by Professor Queen, Honorable Queen, that yes, it is time for the youth to be educated. It is time for people to step up and take up action. We cannot rely on anybody else except ourselves to step up as responsible human beings of this planet. And when we are talking about this aspect, health emergencies pose a big global risk, which we are in right now. And having shown the critical need for preparedness, there is a huge gap between the readiness and the suffering. The rate at which the whole magnanimity of the issue is coming up seems to be beyond control. It is not a time for the blame game, but it is a time for the action game to come into play. And if we, as citizens, join hands with our respective governments, do not look at what is the setback, just looking at what is possible, I guess this particular goal number 3 of the UN under SDG will definitely be able to come over this phase which we are facing throughout the world. Coming to this particular aspect, the main aim is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages, irrespective of gender, irrespective of the economy of the country. It is human right to be happy, healthy at the physical, mental, and the emotional levels. This pandemic has seen that there has been a huge downtrend in mental wellness of the people. When a country is lashed down economically, sees a downtrend, there is a huge impact on the mental and the emotional lives of people. On the one side, there is the physical incapacitation of the governments of the people to handle the pandemic. On the other end, it is this particular economic downtrend, which is creating a huge lot of mental and emotional instability. That is something which needs to be handled at the grassroots levels. We can look at hunger, wherein the person is satiated with his basic need. But what about the mental need, which is about understanding how he can live on this planet as a human being? Unfortunately, living as a human has been forgotten. We have started becoming machines, and this machine is now in the breakdown. We feel nowhere to go. The UN has its various propositions to help people, but cannot be done on its own. It is organizations coming together, people taking up responsibility and leadership, like what we have taken right now, which is going to enable us to take a step forward. No time to look at why did it happen, how did it happen, where will it take us. What is important is what can be done now to see that the damage is controlled. 1 in every 7 Indian, out of the 10 Indians which were taken in studies, 7 of them have been undergoing mental illness, which is an alarming figure. If it is with India, we can definitely look at the other underdeveloped or developing countries, how bad it could be. We need to be stepping up to see that. We bring it to the notice of the government to put in more funds, to use the funds which has been allocated to the mental and emotional health as well. Educating the people in the right way with the life skill educations is one of the major steps which needs to be targeted apart from giving the right food, nourishment, and medical health. Because a healthy mind is what will hold a happy, healthy body. Health and well-being is also a political choice. I would like to bring in here the very important aspect that, yes, it is a political choice. And recent decades have witnessed a huge development and growth in the human technology across the globe. We live in an interconnected world, easy to access commodities and services. Life expectancy and living standards have gone better before this pandemic, but new challenges have also come up. In this highly competitive world, we are encouraged to produce more, consume more. Natural resources have become scarce, and climate change has led to the rise in diseases. And COVID-19 is one of them. Human activities have adversely affected our environment and the Earth's ecosystem. Different vulnerabilities have emerged, including poverty and loneliness. This loneliness is one of the major factors for the mental and emotional disabilities which are noticed now. In the rising pandemic, mental well-being associated disorders, chronic diseases, and different disabilities have been on the rise. This has thrust a huge pressure on the health system across the globe. These pressures are beyond the control of an individual or a nation, and hence, UN has set up the goal of health and wellness, giving it prominence. If this prominence could only be shared well, could be radiated well from the UN to all the countries which are associated, I guess major problems could be solved. These pressures are beyond the control of an individual or a nation. And so we have to join hands together, not just as a nation, but as a globe, as a global village of humanity, as we say, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That has to be propagated, practiced, and applied in our everyday life. When we're looking at the socio-ecological and economic models, it needs to be reframed to bring about health and wellness into the lives of people. UN with WHO has set up major economic and political goals to see that we are able to sustain our healthy goals by making the world more sustainable and walking on a path of resilience. It cannot be sustained alone, and hence all the other goals of the UN needs to be working together to help this particular health and wellness goal to come to fruition. Greater political commitments is something which needs to be highly prioritized. If we are not able to have these greater political commitments, I guess we will not be able to see the change which is coming about now to make us better in all aspects of life. The greater partnership across borders is the next aspect which needs to be taken care of. More partnership across borders, bringing people together, bringing thought leaders, and radiating it to the people, the citizens of the country, to make it a better world. Policy orientations like right education, social cohesions, and have a common benchmark platforms. Brainstorming, as we are doing here, supportive governance, knowledge, sharing equal voice, transformative and collective efforts to help bring about health and wellness to the lives of the people, the inmates of this blue marble, the earth. There are various ways that one can look at how they can bring about a change, not just in their lives, but radiating it to the people around them, as a nation, as a world, as one. We human beings can be at any part of the world, but end of the day, we are still the same human being wherever we are. Emotions are the same. The mental well-being needs are the same. The hunger aspects of every human being is the same. There should not be a differentiation as to what is being given to the developed countries and what is given to the developing or the developed countries. Let the UN look at the human being as a human being and not bifurcate them as per the geographical borders. Each government, if they come together and join hands, build up the benevolence and the trust of the people, of the inmates, I guess this particular aspect of life, which is about living, the joy of living, which is very, very important and which is the birthright of every human being walking on this planet Earth. When we are coming to this aspect, there are various ways where we can bring in mental and physical health also back into streams, because every change also has its positive sides. We tend to be creative in finding solutions. This pandemic is also a time of transition. Let us look at the various projects which comes up, which could probably come up to help bring back the world to its economic uptrend, to help people be sustainable with their physical, mental, and emotional well-being, to help the whole world as one, fighting for one particular enemy, and that is the pandemic. This pandemic does not mean that we have to shut doors, does not mean that we have to build up big walls across our borders. This means that we have to come together and raise a voice to understand what is ours should not be slipped from our hands. We have a right to reclaim our human rights, understand the transparency with regards to how our life is being ruled. Let there not be a particular aspect which could pull us down and not allow us to grow. May all of us have a good mental well-being, have a progressive mindset, become more benevolent, be more trustworthy to one another, and look at life as a transition which all of us are facing together. It is not just one country or it is not one individual. The whole world needs to come together and build a happier and a sustainable world. Thank you so much for hearing me out. Namaste.
So much, Dr. Singhi, and I very much agree with what you said, that humans should be valued irrespective of their geographical location. That is indeed a very empowering and a powerful, impactful, what do you say, words from you. And now, thank you so much for your views, and trust me, it touched me to the bottom of my heart. Thank you, indeed.
Thank you.
And may I next invite our next speaker, Her Empress Kwang Ho. So, Dr. Fräulein Deluth Mobo, welcome, sir, and over to you, please. So please unmute yourself. Cannot hear you. Wonder why?
Yes.
No, I can't hear you.
Hello.
Yes, yes, please. Louder.
Doc, hindi ka naririnig. Wala kang sound.
Don't hear.
Okay, so in the interest of time, may I now invite the next speaker, and probably Mr. Bobo can.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. I request all the attendees to be on mute other than the speaker. Thank you. Dr. Mobo, can you try once again? Speaking, please. Try using your earphones, or try using or restarting your system, if that helps. Okay, so do we have here Mr. Kwang Ho? So Kwang Ho is not here, I guess, right? Professor, may I invite Professor Joseph Dimano? So Dimano, are you there? Need to unmute yourself. No, sir, I could not see him. So may I next move to Mohammad Rohit Samon? Dr. Mobo. So here we bring to you Dr. Rolian Dilot Mobo. So Mobo, can you?
Can you now hear me, ma'am? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, you are audible, please.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I'm sorry, I just have technical problem. So good evening. So before I start, let me greet my fellow Filipino, magandang gabi. And it is indeed a great opportunity for me to be invited as one of the international speakers in this momentous event. So let me start with my speech, of course, by transforming our system, which is aligned to the United Nations member states, which has been committed to comprehensive, integrated, and universal transformation. So the purpose of this is that by achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDG, which cannot be happen without ending hunger and malnutrition, and without having sustainable and resilient, of course, climate compatible agriculture, and of course, food systems that can deliver for people and of course in the whole humanity. So this requires comprehensive efforts to ensure that every nation and every man and woman would be able to enjoy the right for adequate food, of course, which can be empowered and be given priority to all family. And of course, the challenge will be is to end the hunger by doing the vision which will reflect the elements which is stated in the sustainability development, which is taken together that can end hunger, eliminate all forms of malnutrition, and build inclusive and sustainable food system. And then by doing this, it will be able to decline, of course, the number of people who will suffer from this hunger as measured by other system, which is current estimates, which shows that nearly almost 1 million, which is people are hungry, or certain percentage of the world population, up to millions of people in every year, and by nearly 60 million in every 5 years. So according to other source, there are so many that who are suffered from this acute hunger, which largely due to man-made conflicts, climate change, and even in this time of pandemic that could now double that number, putting up an additional million at risk of suffering hunger by the end of this year. So when talking about hunger, the only acceptable number is 0. So in order to achieve this goal, we have to do the following things that we need to measure, of course. So one of the agenda of my group of the International Human Rights Movement is working to strengthen and support all nations, of course, in capacity to engage in sustainable development through educational access and, of course, relief programs that can do psychological and bioethical reflections and actions while taking into considerations the traditional, social, and cultural values of each nation. And of course, by achieving the objectives, by helping the people who are suffering from the economic devastation due to collapse of employment in this time of pandemic, especially in the public sectors under the current upheaval in the state, and also to provide relief in the shape of essentials and everyday needs, including food, clothing, the needy victims in conflict-prone time of a pandemic. So what our team is doing right now in the Philippines is that we are doing some programs that will be able to help our colleagues or in our community by doing a partnership, just like doing a program in other program that can align the sustainability development that the recipients would be coming from, of course, from poor families and less fortunate, that would be able to help them. And by aligning this to our goals in terms of the sustainability development to fight zero hunger. So I think that would be all. So thank you and good evening.
Thank you so much for your wonderful views, and it's an honor to have you here, please. Thank you indeed. Thank you so much. So moving on next, may I invite Dr. Tasneem Ali. He's there. I could not see him. So, oh, yes. Dr. Joseph Dimano, are you there? If you're there, then please unmute yourself. Sir, I cannot see him here now. So moving on next, may I invite our next speaker, Dr. Tasneem Ali. Dr. Tasneem, it's always a wonderful experience to, oh, you're there? Yes, please.
Yes, I'm there.
Welcome.
Thank you, Deepa ma'am. Thank you, and it's always good to see you, your smiling face, I always appreciate that, and thank you for inviting me. And indeed, it's a very great opportunity for me today to speak on a very important sustainable development goal topic, and thank you for giving me such an opportunity. Before expressing my views, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Prince Padrapalli, who has invited me here, and to Dr. Vijay Caroline ma'am, and of course, one and only Dr. Raja Rao Padrapalli. Thank you, everyone, for giving me such a nice opportunity. And I would say that the test of our progress is not where we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little. This saying is particularly applicable in the case of those who starve for food. Poverty, hunger, malnutrition are major risks to health worldwide. Even in 21st century, nearly half of the world population, or I must say 3 billion people, lives below the poverty line, and 80% of the world's population earn less than their basic needs. Focusing on how to stop poverty is very important, both in the ways that an individual can have an impact and on the wide change and to poverty. With the coronavirus disease pandemic, progress towards sustainable development goal 1 and 2 has slowed, which is no poverty, zero hunger. And the world was not on track to ending extreme poverty by 2030. Now, as the world anticipates the worst economic fallout, since the groups of millions of people will be pushed back into poverty, undoing years of steady improvement. As the economic impact of pandemic began to be felt more strongly, the importance of robust social protection system for safeguarding the poor and vulnerable is becoming clearer than ever. So too is needed for effective emergency preparedness, both on pandemic and on other hazards that cause disaster. Eradicating hunger and achieving food security remains a challenge, more so in the wake of COVID-19 crisis. At the global level, hunger and food insecurity have been on the rise, and malnutrition still affect millions of children. The situation is likely to get worse owing to economic slowdown and disruption caused by a pandemic-triggered recession. In addition to COVID-19, the desert locusts observed in six Eastern African countries and Yemen, which are underdeveloped countries, where 35 million people are already experiencing acute food insecurity, remains alarming. To mitigate the threats posed by the pandemic to vulnerable populations, countries need to take immediate action to keep threat following, to strengthen food supply chain, and to increase the agriculture production. I strongly believe that reducing poverty requires a focus both on what government need to do and on what individual need to do. We need a combination of responsible policies and responsible behavior. Although there are many things that might be done to reduce poverty, I want to urge for a focus on three priorities: getting a good education, not having children before you marry, and working full time. Government should expect people to make real effort to comply with each of these norms. When they do, then government should reward such behavior by making sure that those who play by the rules will not be poor. One of the most effective policy we could put in place to ensure that everyone gets a good education would be provided very high quality early education to all children from low income families. Many people believe that education in the preschool years only affects young children. In fact, the evidence from both neuroscience and from carefully done program evaluation shows that preschool experiences have long-lasting effects and may be the most cost-effective way to ensure that more children are successful in their early age, graduate from high school, go on to college, and earn more as adults. The federal government could further this goal by providing matching funding to states that are willing to invest in high quality early education for those living in low income neighborhoods starting in the first year of life. Too many of our teens and young adults are having children before they are married and before they are ready to be a parents. In my view, the solution to this problem resides as much as in the large culture in what parents, the media, faith, communities, and key adults say and do as it does in any shift in government policy per se. However, government can help by providing resources to those fighting this battle in the non-governmental sector by ensuring that these own policies do not inadvertently encourage childbearing outside of marriage, and by supporting programs that have had some success in reducing early out of wedlock childbearing. Indeed, despite the noble effort of the World Food Programme, WFP, and tens of thousands of organizations, world hunger remains a grave problem. Each year, about 40 million to 60 million people around the world die from hunger and related diseases. The key cause behind these ugly problems are poverty, economic crisis, war, natural disaster, traditional agriculture practices, lack of technical knowledge and skill, lack of suitable farming practices, etc. The most efficient and direct way to reduce hunger is food aid or nutrition assistance. By providing emergency food aid, government, UN agencies, and non-governmental organizations can save millions of lives. And by giving non-emergency food aids such as school lunches, they can improve health and encourage children to go to school. which have proven essential to a country's long-term development. Wider research, another possible way to resolve the hunger crisis is to stimulate the agriculture system by increasing access to inputs, expanding access to knowledge, increasing access to financial services, and improving natural resource management. However, improvements in productivity will not translate into higher farm income and reduce hunger unless surplus harvest and products can be sold in local, regional, and international markets. For expanding markets and trade, we must expand market information for producers and entrepreneurs, improve post-harvest market infrastructure, and create an enabling policy environment for agribusiness growth. With 2/3 of world's illiterate being female, the ratio of boy and girl should be made equal in primary school and primary, secondary, and tertiary education. Girls that attend school are less likely to get married before 18, thus decreasing child marriage rate by 64% worldwide. Similarly, literate women are less likely to spread disease like HIV, AIDS due to better knowledge of disease transmission, which help to accelerate poverty education in the long run. Empowering women is critical for ending hunger, poverty, and malnutrition around the world. When women have equal access to education and participate fully in decision making, they become the key driving force against hunger and poverty. Food and Agriculture Organization estimate that if women had the same access to productive resources as men, women could boost yield by 20 to 30%, raising the overall agriculture output in developing countries by 2.5 to 4%. This gain in production could reduce the number of hungry people in the world by 12 to 17%, besides increasing women's income. The country with higher rate of women empowerment have lower rate of stunning, which is primary message of chronic undernutrition. Enhancing women's control over decision making in the household is directly related to gender equality and result in better prospect and greater well-being of children through reduction in malnutrition and poverty of future generations. To minimize hunger, working with existing local democratic institutions is essential to strengthen capacity and make the most of the resources easily available. Also, working with partnership with local government bodies ensures the effectiveness of local organization by directly accounting for the problem of local people. Similarly, the creative use of available land is essential. Urban gardens can be used in an efficient way to supply city dwellers with food as well as income. We citizens can all help in eradicating hunger through such practices. Eradication is a wider issue. Only way out is empowerment through planned, synchronized approach, adopting both short as well as long-term approach. Efforts that are yet small, collaborative, may bring some positive change in society. We must all lend our assistance to achieve the goal of no poverty, no zero. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tasneem ji, and very well said. And I agree to whatever you have said, and all the points were really well taken. And I'll request Caroline ma'am and Rajrao to speak more about it at the end of it. Yes, please. So now we have, last but not the least, our next speaker, Dr. Bhavna Chhibber. May I invite her, please?
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Deepa, for inviting me. A very good evening to all the respected dignitaries. I'm Bhavna Chhibber, honored to be a member of this team and happy to share my views on the Sustainable Development Goal number 1 and 2. I congratulate Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council for conducting this SDG Global Festival and wish them success for their future projects. Let us proceed and ponder on the Sustainable Development Goal number 1, poverty. Deepa, I need help. I want to share one PPT. Can you please give me the right to represent?
Yes, ma'am.
While she is setting this, I am I've heard all the speakers, and I believe everyone had just said straight from heart that what is the need of an hour? What we have to do? It is the time to act. It is the time to work in sync with all this SDG goals at a global platform. So I'm highly impressed with Her Excellency ideas, and I truly believe, being an educator, that empowering young minds is in need of an hour, which we have to work in sync with all the educators at the global level. Now, let me have a brief introduction that how policies adopted at the global level and what they have taken it and how they have proceeded it. The first is this mapping the scheme wise with SDG by each department wherever still not done. So this is how all the countries, they have divided this and they have divided the scheme and they are working on it. Establishing the implementation and monitoring the framework. All the countries are doing this for each and every goal and target. Tracking the progress through a dashboard, state division, district level consultation with stakeholders or capacity building of functionaries are a part of the policies adopted at the global level. Documenting and sharing, this is very important. Only then, if you will document well, then only we will be able to know, yes, that we have achieved to this level. Now, I'll share some fact about our SDG goal number 1, that is no poverty. We talk about no poverty and we believe that we will achieve this, but the journey is quite long. Right now, I'm sharing few facts with you. 689 million people live in extreme poverty, surviving on less than $1.90 a day. Children and youth account for 2/3 of the world's poor, and women represent a majority in most regions. About 40% of the sub-Saharan African live on less than 1.90 a day. And just extreme poverty rates nearly doubled in Middle East and North Africa between 2015 and 18. About 70% of people older than 15 have no schooling or some other basic education. 1.3 billion people are still there, which are deprived in 107 developing countries, live in multi-dimensional poverty. So these are the few facts which we need to ponder on, which we need to see. This is very, very important to note that what target we have to achieve. If we know the target, which we tell our students also, that you have to be goal oriented, you have to do your SWOT analysis and give target to yourself. So our target that will be by 2030 there will be no poverty. The implementation, the first target is eradicate extreme poverty for all people everywhere. Implement nationality appropriate social distance systems and measures for all. Reduce at least by half of the proportion of men and women, children living in the poverty in all its dimensions. Ensure that all the men, women have equal rights to economic resources and basic services. And next is build the resilience and reduce their exposure and vulnerability to climate-related extreme events. Next is, I just want to say here, Her Excellency, the target which you have shared, the things you have you're achieving, I believe that is recommendable, and I believe so. If we will work according to that, definitely we are going to achieve this target. Now comes the COVID impact. A very, I believe the earlier speaker has also talked about that how this COVID has exactly whatever targets we have. So I am just displaying few figures in front of you, which I got it from some source, World Vision, and see here pre-COVID, and we had a target of 650. This was a number, and now after COVID, This is the number. We have increased about 9.9%. See, the statistics tell you about the actual reality. The statistics speak the truth. So how we have to work, how we have to proceed. Next is the global pandemic. Second, now I'll be talking about, if we talk about the second, before starting with the second, I'll just talk about few more points about this. With the full impact of the COVID-19 pandemic is unknown, the World Bank estimates that an additional 88 million to 115 million people will fall into extreme poverty in 2020, with the total rising to as many as 150 millions by 2021. So this is the ending global poverty is a priority not only for the World Vision that has given the statistics by 2030 as a part of United Nations Sustainable Goals, but it is an aim of the global leaders also that we need to achieve no poverty. Now heading to the second sustainable goal, that is no hunger. You know, we all are, we can't even stay, we all enjoy dieting because that time we accept hunger for ourselves, and we enjoy that yes, we are dieting and we are not going to have, but there are millions of people right now on this earth, they are deprived of having a basic food for them. So the global pandemic has had a very bad effect, and world hunger worldwide, an additional 70 to 161 million people are likely to have experienced hunger as a result of this pandemic in 2020. So that is the statistics which I'm talking about. I'm an IT person, so I always talk about statistics. I believe in that because when you talk about statistics, you work hard. You know the truth, so you work with more passion, with more dedication. Pandemic will worsen the child malnutrition, which we were already suffering a lot, but now it has increased. 22% of children under 5 are stunted. 6.7% of children under 5 suffer from wasting. 5.7% of children are overweight. So there are so many problems which we are facing right now. No hunger by target by 2030. End hunger and ensure access to safe and nutrition and sufficient food. End all forms of malnutrition, and double the agriculture productivity and income. Ensure sustainable food production systems, maintain the genetic diversity of seeds and cultivated plants and animals. This will help us to achieve the target of by 2030. Before sharing this slide with you, I just want to share one thing with you, that how the technology is helping us, to empowering us to have or to achieve this. There is one meeting held recently on July 12, 2021 by the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2020 by SOFI 2021. This is in need of an hour. That is the first comprehensive assessment which they have submitted. The reports are yet to be released, but they are working on it, that how we have to project or what the number of undernourished people may look like in 2030. This is what we need to work on. They are working on it. They have done this task and they are just working effectively and efficiently on it. Now, I would like to share a few points with you all, how this technology, I'm talking about artificial intelligence, how this will help all these goals to reach or to attain the target. First of all, if we talk about the role of artificial intelligence, if I talk about in the role, how to improve no poverty. So what they have started using satellite imaging. Now, satellite imaging is what which help you to. I'm just stop sharing. Satellite imaging is just helping you to capture the dark places in the world. Now, through these dark places, now you're able to know where there is no light. That means there is no nothing there. They are able to get that. If there is no light, that means they are so poor that they can't afford light, or they don't want to say they don't want that kind of facility in that area. That means that needs special attention. So satellite imaging is one area that identify poverty and regions that are most in need through the satellite imagery. Then improving agriculture. Again, the artificial intelligence, the tools are in this, which aid the distribution in poorer and war-prone areas and disaster-affected areas. Again, this images help them for this task. Then improving education, there is a concept which has been started, and very soon it will be spread over, that where are the remote areas wherein we are not able to send the teachers or so. In that area, we are going to have some chatbots. That AI will help impact education in poorer area through intelligent chatbots in future. That is the thought process which we are working on. And in the field of for the SDG goal number 2 for the no hunger, we have so many AI tools like creating perfect crops. For this, there are so many AI tools which are useful. That is for planning. AI technologies used by farmers across globe by preceding time of sowing seeds and climate changes to enhance, that is robotics, agri-tech, predictive analysis, soil monitoring. AI-enabled farm view technology help researchers to find genetic makeup of create seeds and for the higher yield, and to know the diseases of the plant. There are tools which have been developed, and like the deep learning has been utilized in this. So farmers can take action before the losses are disastrous. So this will result to this. And in India, I can quote few apps, M-Kisan. Then the latest is Atmanirbhar Krishi app, which is just launched in June 21. So this is what India is doing, and I hope in all the countries at global level, each and every country is putting their effort to make this, to reach this target by 2030. To conclude my speech, I would like to share few lines written by me, which will just conclude what I feel about and how we have to proceed. I hope you all will like. In the embark of developments, so much is there to retrieve. In the embark of developments, so much is there to retrieve. Technology is the sunshine that is helping our goals to achieve. Targets are there throughout the year. Targets are there throughout the year. Sustainable world is a sound to hear. Tools and techniques are vast around the globe. Let's use the knowledge and skill to probe. Development takes place with each citizen. Let's make the world a better place by providing them provision. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Raja, for giving me this platform and to be here with all of them. Thank you so much, sir. I'm highly blessed to be a part of this benign association, and I'm thankful to everybody to listen me wholeheartedly. Thank you so much.
So much, Bhavna ji. Indeed, it was a pleasure listening to you, and it was very interesting how beautifully you correlated AI, artificial intelligence, with all the 17 SDG. Thank you so much. So I could see one more speaker, Dr. Ruhin Suman. She is, I guess, wrongly joined as Mokshi Work. Is Mokshi Work? Please unmute yourself, please. I could only guess that.
Hello.
Hello. So welcome for this session, and we are glad that you could make it. So over to you, please. So ladies and gentlemen, here I welcome Mohammad Rohit Samon. Over to you, please.
Hello. Is it for me or we're having someone else speak?
Oh, I thought you had only said that you're ready to present.
Yes, I am ready to present. I'm Mokshi Work from Canada. And I'll be talking about gender equality today.
Okay, ma'am, please go ahead.
Okay.
So everyone, let's welcome Mokshi Work, please.
Yeah, thank you. So let me start with my introduction. I'm involved in South Asian community as an events organizer, speaker, mentor, radio and TV host, and a founder director of a not-for-profit organization known as Indo-Canadian Arts and Culture Initiative in Canada. Last year, I was appointed as president of WICI, which is Women India Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Canada India Business Council, and also appointed as president of World Book of Records for Toronto, Canada. My passion lies in community service and making a difference in the lives of fellow citizens. I moved to Canada in 2002 and decided to start a not-for-profit organization in 2014. The purpose was to support and empower women, newcomers to Canada, youth, and seniors through community programs and events. As we all know, COVID-19 pandemic is one of the most serious public health crises Canada and the whole world has ever faced. It has revealed fundamental gaps in our society and disproportionately impacted those who were already marginalized, vulnerable, and struggling. 2020 was poised to be a milestone year in the movement to advance women's rights and gender equality, especially here in Canada and around the world. Canada marked the 50th anniversary of Royal Commission on Status of Women, 25 years since the signing of Beijing Declaration on the 4th World Conference on Women, and the 5th anniversary of the Sustainable Development Goals. Rather than an opportunity to celebrate the progress towards the goals of these key pillars of progress, 2020 brought us global world crisis. And COVID has really impacted everyone, presenting a serious challenge to the decades of movement towards greater gender equality. Women and girls have been particularly impacted. Women have faced steep job losses, and many have bravely served on the front lines of this crisis in our communities and shoulder the burden of unpaid care work at home. They have been slower to return to work than men and continue to face challenges that threaten the hard-won gains of women in Canada. Women are not only hardest hit by the pandemic, they are also the backbone of recovery in communities. Putting women and girls at the center of economies will fundamentally drive better and more sustainable development outcomes for all and support a more rapid recovery. There has been progress over the last decades. More girls are going to school, fewer girls are forced into early marriage, more women are serving in parliament and positions of leadership, and laws are being reformed to advance gender equality. As we know, gender equality is achieved when women, men, girls, and boys have equal rights, conditions, and opportunities, and the power to shape their own lives and contribute to the development of society. It's a matter of equitable distribution of power, influence, and resources in society. I want to share five ways to fight gender inequality. We should give girls access to education, give women platform to empower and achieve economic success, end violence and sexual harassment against women, assure girls and women have access to health facilities, and child marriage. We need to follow some steps to achieve gender equality in our lifetimes. Talk to women and girls. Let girls use all the resources, stop sexual harassment, make education gender sensitive, raise aspiration of girls and parents, empower mothers, give proper value to women work, give women some power. How we can promote equality? To improve and to promote equality and diversity in any organization, we need to identify and prevent unconscious bias. We all have unconscious biases. So putting equality policies in place, we should mind our language, use objective criteria. We have to be proactive, get advice if we need it, watch out for indirect discrimination. I am a strong believer of women empowerment, and I've worked and collaborated with several community organizations in Canada and India. I've always seen that it's hard being women, all the ups and downs that women has to go through and wear multiple hats. We need a whole lot of confidence and courage to go out in the world and to take care of our family around us. Most importantly, we still need to find time and space in our mind to take care of ourselves. So I always say that if I can help women in any possible way to make their life a little bit easier in a simple way, I would like to do that. Our nonprofit organization, ICACI, started with the similar mission of helping women, youth, and newcomers to Canada. In our organization, we do everything together to empower each other. It's a combination of stories and ideas of our board members and participants. With that, we plan events, workshops, seminars so that everybody can learn from it. To conclude, I would say that to understand gender equality, we have to make sure we don't believe that it's only a female issue. It's a social and economic imperative. It is vital that we include men in this equation and welcome them to participate in this event too. So this is from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful views, and we truly appreciate that you could join us. May I now invite Dr. Parin Somani for her greetings and wishes, please. I could see her here. Dr. Somani, are you there? I guess she's not there as of now. So may I now hand over to Dr. Rajarao Pagidapalli for his vote of thanks, please. Yes, please. May I now invite Dr. Nadia? Are you there? Nada, okay, I can see her there, and I'll just unmute her. Yes, please. You're ready to speak now?
Okay, thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you very much. I'm Nada Ratkovic from Croatia, professor, assistant on Faculty of Economics, Business, and Tourism in Split. Also, I am an educator, trainer, researcher, and greetings to all from Croatia. What will I talk? I like before 10 minutes the speech from Dr. Bhavna about the correlation between AI and all 17 SDG goals. Maybe I will talk a little about SDG in my country. because I'm coming from another continent, coming from Europe. So, according to European report, my country, Croatia, is one of three countries with the highest cumulative share of damage for GDP from extreme weather and climate events. To develop innovative solutions, we use SDG 9 for sustainable development. Also, Croatia submitted a voluntary national review from United Nations from 2019. We have many actions. We invest about 4 to 6 billions in renewable energy. Then I'm talking about SDG 7 by 2030. Also, we have many actions what are environment dimension, and they are focused on other SDGs like 3, 6, 7, 9, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Our strategy also we to do and make statistical analysis. We established a big information system for strategic planning and for development management, and it is progressing every day. In Croatia, we have Croatia Bureau of Statistics, and it is designed on the internet portal, and we to make analysis, econometrics, statistics. We also use the portal of United Nations Sustainable Development Knowledge. What I think and what will I give like and one example. We are always talking about smart cities and smart villages. I think that that is very important, and it is in correlation with all 17 SDGs. And the main framework is there what community, village, city, and sustainability. That is when we talk about the term and said living sustainability, and also there are a big link and a relationship between all of that four terms. Instead of that, what should we suggest? We must suggest social sustainability, appropriation, effectiveness. Something to me. Okay. I talk with many. What is my conclusion? I make many researches, and in this survey, what I talk about, the results indicate that there is essential hardship of rural livelihood, and the perception of quality of life in rural area is affected by dissatisfaction of the other respondents. And what are their responses? Less pollution, better social ties, and less crime. I will not maybe one sentence. For my country, further the biggest problem is depopulation, and it is in the big correlation with all 70 SDGs. And if we don't do and work on that problem, all area will have dramatic effects and bigger effects on all 17 SDGs. And that experience was said that implementation of economic, social, regional development and the policy will give successful solutions. Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity like a delegate to talk here today. Okay, I didn't. I can't say nothing in 1 minute, okay?
Yes, sir. My schedule is for tomorrow, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to take another view. In the good old days, we used to believe in the concept of dana, sharing the assets with a feeling of humility with your fellow men. So I would request that this concept needs to be, propagated amongst the people, that even if I have $10, I will share $1 with the feeling of humility. That point is very important with my fellow men. And if this type of philosophy gets spread in the societies at large, many of our problems, especially hunger and other things, can be taken care. This has come from the Vedic philosophy, which is the ancient Indian literature. Thank you very much, sir.
I'm deeply engrossed with the speeches of the eminent speakers. Every speaker has given us a complete insight of the burning problem which we are facing and trying their best level to find the solutions which has to be implemented by every citizen of the nation. And every speaker has rightly said. So I'm very much thankful to all the eminent speakers who gathered here and given us a complete knowledge and information, especially the great information we got it that youth has to be educated. Only youth has the power to transform and change the entire environment of the globe. So thank you very much, Rajarav sir. You can carry on. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So now I'm going for concluding remarks. I request all the delegates, please keep on attending for these 5 days. At the end, on 15th of August, there will be a celebration on behalf of our SDG Festival. You all delegates will be honored apart from our chief guests and speakers. Today, I want to say my thanks from bottom of my heart to HRH Princess Professor Dr. Aiden Soriano Trinidad, ma'am. Because of your blessing, today this program is a grand success, ma'am. Really, the moment you have entered, because you are the first person who entered into Zoom room. Really, we are blessed. The blessing is there because all over the program that is very smooth. Because every speaker they have spoken from their heart. Really, that is we feel that strongly. That is for your blessings, ma'am. Thank you so much. That is the first. We have to start with our Excellency Queen Aiden, ma'am. And second one, Sujata Singhi, ma'am. Sujata Singhi, ma'am, the way she appears is like a lioness. Where is, can I see her presence, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. You are really lion. When you are speaking, that grace, that aura is there. Really, fantastic, ma'am. That psychological well-being, that is very important for current society. The inputs that you have given, the value you have added to this program, really hats off, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable presence and speech, ma'am. Then
Thank you.
Froilan Mabo is the person who is actually not well because of his COVID-19 vaccination. But anyhow, as per the commitment he has given to us long back, he has with us and has given really a fantastic speech. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Then Rabia ma'am, due to her ill health, she was unable to join with us. But anyway, she will join tomorrow. But we want to thank her from our bottom of our heart. And Suman brother and Joseph brother, they have some technical issues. But anyway, they will join us soon in some other programs. And we want to say thanks to our, we can say our speaker, more than speaker. She is with us always whenever we need help. Tasnim ma'am, if we say she present there, and she extend our help in any way we ask. Tasnim ma'am, where can you make yourself visible?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
That's because of your kind heart we are saying. So whenever we ask on behalf of our World Peace Commission, our Royal Council, Life Foundation, Telangana Kala Parishad, ma'am, we need this help from you. Will you do this as a speaker? Will you do this as a trainer? Will you do this as a co-host? She says yes. So that is what with her really excellent, ma'am. Thank you for the speech and for the heart you have extending help for the society and for us, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. And Bhavana Chibbar, ma'am. Actually, Bhavana Chibbar, ma'am, asked us for a bit to move her speech a bit advanced, but we were unable due to the situation. But anyway, last but not the least, Bhavana Chibbar, ma'am, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Where, ma'am? You are not visible on the screen. Please speak a bit so that you will be.
Thank you so much for giving me this chance, which I already shared.
Yes.
And I believe that was a kind of a pleasure listening you all. And I wholeheartedly thank every one of you to share your insight. And I must say that was a talk straight from heart from each and every one. So I believe these 5 days you will be having an excellent festival, and we all are together with you to make it a successful event.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Stay blessed always.
So, because Bhavana Chibbar, ma'am, at the end you have added 5 to the program. Because at the moment we are thinking that it's going a bit slow, but in the last moment you have joined, like in cricket, last batsman, the way they hit sixes. So Bhavana Chibbar, ma'am, you did the same.
Thank you so much.
So that you have added 5.
She added a new angle to it. AI.
So you added 5 to the program. And what not to say about Deepa Chaudhary, ma'am? Because if you say, what is the glamour that you have to your program? What is the beauty that you have to your program? We say that is Deepa Chaudhary, ma'am. Because her grace, her presence, her voice, her sense of humor, everything. Moreover, she has good subject and command over the subject whenever a speaker speaks and the way she analyzes. Actually, she belongs to corporate. So, of course, naturally, she possesses that quality. Really, kudos to Deepa Chaudhary, ma'am. You are one way a savior to all our campaigns, all our programs. We have to appreciate. Thank you so much, ma'am. And Caroline, ma'am, you are the person behind all this what happening on Royal Council, because many times you may not be visible on the screen, but when you visible, you show what you are to the society. Really great, ma'am, because leaders should be there like that. Because the first problem, poverty, to end poverty, I think that all women should come together by empowering themselves. Women can make it by empowering themselves. They can end hunger. This is only possible with the women leaders. So, and I appreciate Carolyn, ma'am, because she is not only the leader, she also makes other leaders also. She is a good trainer and she is a good motivator. I think I never see, because at such with background and experience and so many qualifications, still she wanted to do some other courses. Really, that's the strength you have, ma'am. Anyway, we thank each and everyone, and also our prince also there. He wants to be always behind the screen, and he will help me whenever I ask to arrange everything and sending invitations, talking, discussing. So she will do. He will do his task. Anyway, he's not with us. He's on some work. But apart from him, I'm telling these thanks to all. So all together, we are all together made this first day wonderful. Uh, so with this note, I want to conclude this program. Thank you. And I wish all the speakers and delegates, please join tomorrow. You may not be the speaker, but every goal has to be heard by each and everyone. We have to enlighten people and bring awareness on each and every goal. So if I forget anyone, I ask and I request an apology from them. Thank you. Thank all the delegates. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Recording stopped.
మేడం గారు గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ మేడం గారు. రేపు వస్తారు మేడం గారు. మనం అనుకున్న స్పీకర్స్ ఇవాళ కాదు కదా, ఇవాళంతా వీళ్ళే. ఇవాళ ఫస్ట్ డే మేడం గారు. ఫస్ట్ డే పెద్ద పెద్ద స్పీకర్లు పెట్టలేము మనం. అంటే ఇవాళ మనం అది పెట్టింది రేపటిది మేడం గారు. ఫస్ట్ డే మనం కావాలని తక్కువ టైం పెట్టాము, స్పీకర్లను కూడా తక్కువ మంది పెట్టాం మేడం. నిజం అంతా రేపు వస్తారు మేడం గారు. రేపటి నుంచి వస్తారు. ఇక ఇవాళ పిలిచిన దాంట్లో మన టెలిడాట్ మ్యామ్ ఉంది సారా, ఈ మొక్కతే ఇంపార్టెంట్. పరిణిసోమాని మేడం కూడా రేపే, కానీ నేను ఊరికే రమ్మన్నా మేడం ఇవాళ. మేడం మేడం గారు జర్నీలో ఉన్నారు. అయితే మనం పిలిచిన వాళ్ళు అందరూ వచ్చారు మేడం గారు. ఇద్దరు మాట్లాడిన వాళ్ళు, అంటే ఇప్పుడు మాట్లాడిన వాళ్ళు ఇద్దరు కూడా ఉన్నారు అందులోనే. కాకపోతే వాళ్ళకి మాట్లాడడం కుదరట్లేదు. సుమన్ ఇంకొక అతను కూడా వచ్చాడు. అందుకనే మనం వేరే వాళ్ళతో ఇద్దరితో మాట్లాడించాం. సో అట్లా మేడం గారు. అంటే ఇక రేపటి నుంచి, అంటే రేపు తారా మేడం వస్తుంది. ఇక వీళ్ళంతా లెజెండ్స్ అంతా వస్తున్నారు రేపు. ఫస్ట్ ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ ఉంది కదా, ఇక ఒక్కటే మెయిన్. ఇక మిగిలినంతా కూడా ఓకే, అంతా ఓకే. ఇక మనోళ్ళే అంతా మనం వాళ్ళే. ఏమోలేండి మేడం. చిప్పరా బాగుంది. ఇక వీళ్ళు ఏంటంటే మేడం గారు, వీళ్ళకి ఒక్కొక్కరికి ఒక్కొక్క టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఆడియన్స్ ఉంటారు మేడం గారు. ఇక సో మన ఇక ఆ దృష్టితో అందరిని ఒప్పుకోవాలి. ఇప్పుడు చివరిలో నాడాడలో చెప్పింది సార్, నాడాడొత్తు మీకు ఆమె ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్పీకర్, ఆమెకి ఎక్కడన్నా ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్పీకర్ వచ్చినా ఒక్కరు ఉందా మేడం? ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్పీకర్